No, absolutely. I know what you're thinking. Did I look up the laws so I could do something? No.
I found so much more information that wasn't even in the documentary. Before we get into today's video, I just want to let you guys know that this video is for educational purposes only. Please remember to be kind to everybody everywhere, in your everyday life, in your home, in the grocery store, and especially in the comment section down below. Please do not show hate to anybody, anywhere. So good morning, good morning, good morning. How is everybody doing today? I hope you all are having an amazing day. I hope you all had a wonderful week. Hope everybody's feeling good. Oh my gosh, the weather is so nice and cool and crisp outside here in Florida. It's been really nice. A bit cold, but really nice. So in today's video, we are going to be talking about the story that surrounded or happened with the Netflix documentary, The Perfect Neighbor. A lot of you guys have been asking me to talk about this. I've been getting emails, DMs, comments, and we're going to talk about it today. And what I have found is so much more than what was even in the Netflix documentary. And spoiler alert, you're going to want to stay to the end of this because I actually don't think that the ending was right. I don't think that the person that was involved in this got a fair sentence. So make sure you stay to the end to see what my opinion is. Before we get into it though, I did want to let you guys know, if you don't already know, hi, my name is Christina. I have a second channel, which is Casually Christina. We just do things more casually over there. I also have a Patreon. My Patreon's for 18 and up, and over there we talk about more personal stuff. We go live over there. There's a $2 tier for all the true crime stuff that cannot go onto YouTube due to their terms and policies. That goes over on my Patreon under the $2 tier. I'm also on Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, and Like to Know It. And Like to Know It is a platform where you can find links to a lot of things that you guys ask me about. Makeup, skincare, hair care, clothing items, workout gear, Christmas gift ideas, stuff like that. I link over on my Like to Know It, and all of those platforms are linked down in the description box if you would like to come and check me out. Before we go any further, I did want to stop and thank today's sponsor, Upside. The holidays are meant for giving, but that does not mean that you can't get a little something back too. Between road trips to see family, hosting different dinners, running out to grocery stores over and over again, the season can definitely put a strain on your wallet. But with the free Upside app, you can get cash back on daily essentials like gas, groceries, and going out to eat. There are over 100,000 different gas stations, grocery stores, and restaurants on the Upside app, assuring that cash back is always right around the corner. And yes, it is real cash back. No confusing rewards or point systems or any like weird credits, just straight cash back transferred to your bank account. It is so easy that all you have to do is claim an offer on whatever you're buying on the Upside app, pay as usual with a credit or debit card, follow the easy steps in the app, and boom, you get cash back and you can get paid. And Upside has given back $1 billion to its users. To find out how much you could earn, just click the link down in the description box to download the free Upside app and use my code Christina Randall to get 25 cents back for every gallon of gas on your first tank of gas. Or you can just scan this QR code right here. Yes, all you gotta do is click the link down in the description box, use my code, and you can save today. Thanks again, Upside. Okay, y'all, we got a lot to get into today with this. Before we get into it, though, I did need to let y'all know that I'm not a professional. Everything in this video is alleged. I don't know any of these people. I pull all of my information from very public sources, news sources, arrest affidavits that I found, court testimonies that I found, the Netflix documentary, and so much more public information that is already out there. I filter it through my own words and opinions, so please go do your own research, but just don't show hate to anybody, anywhere. All right, let's talk about Susan Lorincz. Back in 2023, 58-year-old Susan Lorincz was living in Ocala, Florida. Now, Susan is originally from New Jersey, but she ended up moving to Florida when she was a young adult. Susan lived in the Quail Run neighborhood in Ocala, and she rented her apartment. It's like an apartment duplex type of home, and there she lived alone. The Quail Run neighborhood was full of young families, and nearly every day you would see everyone's kids outside playing, specifically in this big field that was right next to Susan's apartment. This field is actually an empty lot that was never built on, and it was the biggest grassy area in this whole entire neighborhood. So it seemed like the perfect place for everyone to play. And mind you, it was in the best, like, eye site for parents to just like peek out the door and see their little ones out playing in the field. I mean, it was just like in the perfect spot for this. Yet for some reason, Susan did not like that it was being used as a play area. Starting back in 2021, Susan on at least 6 different occasions called the police to report trespassing on her property, even though it did not belong to her. Susan claimed that the little ones were loud and constantly screaming at her, taunting her, and even threatening her. Officers repeatedly showed up and they weren't able to do anything because there was never any crimes that were committed. And if they were, Susan seemingly never had any proof of these crimes. Susan was the only person in the neighborhood complaining about all of them playing in this grassy field. Now, mind y'all, I have to point out here, okay? They weren't running around spray painting nothing. They weren't running around busting out windows, breaking into cars, they were playing in the field, playing games, playing football games, playing different type of tag games, running around after school, laughing, just doing that type of thing, right? It has been reported, though, that Susan even had someone similar in age to her that was living right next door to her. So again, it's a duplex, 2 apartment type of home. And there was a woman that was around her age, maybe even a little bit older, who was retired that was living in the other side. This lady said she had lived in that neighborhood for 15 years, mind you. She said she never understood why Susan had such a big problem with the kids just being kids out there playing around. Other neighbors also said that yes, the little ones were loud, and yes, they got pretty rowdy when they were out there playing, but it was always during daytime hours. She said from about 2 p.m. after everybody got out of school till around 6 p.m., which was dinner time, they'd be out there playing. This neighbor said that they were always inside by the time it got dark because they all had to go home, for dinner and go to school the next day. Another neighbor, who was actually the owner of that vacant lot, said that he actually encouraged them to play on his lot, and he would even go out there and play football with them sometimes. But even with all of that, Susan convinced her landlord to put up no trespassing signs on her line to divide the area between her property that she was renting and the vacant lot. I saw the landlord testify in court. He said that Susan came to her and said, "I need you to control these kids." And he was basically like, "I can't control them."
Okay, so the majority of that open field is owned by the other quadplex owner?
Correct.
And that's not you?
No.
Understood. At the defendant's request, did you put up some no trespassing signs?
I put up 2 signs that said no trespassing and keep off grass.
And did you put those signs up at Ms. Lorinc's request?
Yes, I did. Well, she asked me to try to control the children, and I said I didn't have any ability to do that, but I could put up a couple signs on my property line.
And did you do that?
Yes, I did.
And I also want to show y'all an aerial view of this area, so you really got it in your mind. So this is a photo of the whole area right here, and I'm going to put an arrow pointing to the field. As you can see, it's a nice big field for the little ones to play in. Now I'm going to show you a picture of the outline of the property that the landlord owned. So you can see that little bitty strip there was the property that the landlord owned. Okay, and she was living in 1 duplex of that. The whole rest of the field was owned by the person that encouraged them to go out there and play. Again, they're not out there spray painting, busting up nothing. They're out there playing football and kickball and whatnot. Now, Susan would allegedly get so angry anytime anyone came anywhere near that line. And in one instance, in February of 2022, Susan ended up calling 911 to report that a neighbor named Ajika Owens hit her in the leg with one of them no trespassing signs. Now, Ajika, who also goes by AJ, was an adored, loving mother to her 4 children, Isaac, Africa, Titus, and Israel. Ajika worked super hard. She was on her feet all day as a manager at the local McDonald's, and neighbors have said that Ajika, or AJ, was an amazing mother who spent all of her free time with her 4 kids. They said as soon as she was done working that she would come straight home and hang out and throw the football around with them. Now, when the officers arrived, AJ admitted that she had gotten into a verbal argument or altercation with Susan because she was accused of walking her dog on Susan's property. Now, I've seen some conflicting information on this part, you guys, because y'all seen the photo. Susan's property is this big, or it's not even her property, but she's renting it. So if I'm renting a home, I'm going to feel like I don't want you on my lawn if I don't want you on my lawn, right? Okay. But it's very small. However, in some police documents, it says that AJ admitted to going on Susan's property. However, I found this clip of the body cam footage here that makes it sound like she wasn't on her property. She was walking the dog possibly in the field on past the spot where the property was. Y'all watch this.
Okay, so since found out that is her property, she has a no trespass, so unfortunately that means can't go over there.
Well, that's fine. I mean, if it's hers, it's hers. But I mean,
it doesn't matter if it's not hers. She rents there, just like you rent here. You wanted somebody to trespass from right here, you called us and we saw them on the property, they'd be trespassed. The next time we came out, they'd go to jail. Okay? That's the way that works.
all right. I mean,
You have the same right as she does. So, I mean, she doesn't want them over there, don't have them over there. The landlord put a sign there for a reason. That is what it is.
it is.
Okay?
Absolutely.
Your baby's out here?
No, my kids are inside. They only come out to walk the dog. And maybe if we're home by daylight for them to play. Like I was gonna let them play because they never get to play. Yeah, literally. I told him, I said, stay on this side, and he wasn't even lingering here. He was behind the building.
I just wouldn't even have him go over there since it's an issue every time. Okay?
Here it is.
I know, I'm sorry.
Simple.
It is what it is.
I've had the same issue, but
So you can decide whether she was actually walking the dog on the property or she was over in that field, what you think. Nevertheless, Susan didn't like it. She was looking out the window and she saw AJ on that side and she didn't like it, so she called the police. She told the officers that she tried to get a picture of AJ and her dog, and when she did, she said that AJ became upset and told Susan not to take pictures of her or her children. Susan told the officers that AJ picked up the no trespassing sign and threw it at her. AJ did say that she picked up the sign and she tossed it, but she said she didn't throw it intentionally at Susan. Susan told the officers that day that she recorded the incident on her cell phone, but then when she went to go and show the footage to the officers, Susan really only had 2 pictures of AJ yelling. She didn't have any footage of the sign being thrown. Now, just to throw this little tidbit out here for now, because when I was watching this body cam footage, I'm like, what in the world? This body cam footage, or this incident happened in February of 2022. In the beginning, Susan tells the officer that she's getting ready to move.
The time my license doesn't match this, I was supposed to move, and then I ended up having the surgery, so I'll be moving shortly.
Now, mind you, in June of 2023, she's still living there, so I think she was lying right then, but nevertheless, at one point, Susan even claimed that the little ones set that sign on fire, but again, she had no proof of this, okay? The neighbors claimed that Susan was always the instigator. And I want to let y'all know that from everything that I have found, everybody in that neighborhood seemingly got along except for this woman, Susan. She was the only one that constantly had issues, and it was constantly basically with the little ones is what it seems like, okay? Even the lady that lived next door to her, who was her age or a little bit older and retired, okay, she testified in court that she didn't have any problems with them. As a matter of fact, sometimes they would come over and use her phone. And so it was only Susan.
Every time I turn around, The kids are always screaming and stuff like that. Someone's throwing stuff at this window. I asked them to move. They refuse to move. It's this constant barrage of stupidity.
A lot of the neighbors also said that Susan would constantly be screaming profanities at their little ones, including slurs, and things seemed to be really escalating. The neighbors became even more concerned when they learned that Susan had been filming their little ones on her phone as they played in that vacant lot. So she was allegedly in that duplex, peeking out the window with her phone, filming them. It's almost like she was just waiting for them to step out of line, do something wrong, which is also why it's so interesting, because she never had any footage of them on her property, on that across that line. But nevertheless, with all of that being said, let's talk about what happened on June 2nd of 2023. AJ and Susan's neighbor, Franklin Baez, he lived actually across the field on the same side of the street than Susan. Franklin had spent 14 years in the Army, and he lived in that house across the field. And he testified that on this day, he was actually out in that field with the neighborhood little ones for a long time. He was out there playing. They were playing games. He was separating them, and he played out there with them for hours right until it got dark.
Were you playing with the kids in that open field that day?
I was, yes, sir.
And do you remember about how many kids were there playing? 1 or 2 or more than that?
Oh, no, it was, at least 8 or 10, 12, 15 kids sometimes.
Were the kids being loud?
Yes, sir.
Did you see the children that day ever playing on the defendant's property or going onto her property?
No, sir.
While the children were playing in that open field, did there come a time that the defendant came out and began to record you and the children?
Yes, sir.
He testified on this day while they were playing that AJ's son Israel brought him his iPad and asked him to hold it. He said that when he brought him the iPad, he said, listen, I can't hold it. You know how he is. He's the adult. He said that he had like 10 to 15 of them out there playing with him that day. He's trying to manage everything, referee everything, basically. And he's like, I can't hold the iPad. You need to set it somewhere. I can't be responsible for it. So he said that Israel went and set the iPad down in the field.
Did Israel have a tablet with him?
He did.
Okay.
Well, either a tablet or a phone.
What did he do with this tablet?
Well, I was playing with the kids, and whenever he approached me, because I was in the middle trying to guide, I had him all divided in 2 teams. So he said, I was literally paying attention to the both team, and then Israel asked me if I can watch his phone or tablet, and I'm like, I cannot, because I'm paying attention to everyone else. I'm calling down numbers, and he's like, I'm just gonna place it here. I'm gonna leave it here. I'm like, well, you gotta be responsible for your own thing. He just left it there. I just kept playing with the kids.
Do you remember where he left the tablet?
Right in the middle of the open field, yes, sir, where I was standing.
As it became dark, Franklin said that he went ahead and went home. He said he was tired. He went home, sat down, started, flipping through Facebook on his phone, scrolling, All of the little ones began to disperse, started to head home as well. This is when Israel went home, realized he didn't have his iPad, and went back to the field to get his iPad. When he did, Susan was outside, and she began to yell and curse at him. Israel said that Susan had his iPad. Allegedly, she then dropped it and threw roller skates at him. So Israel naturally ran back home to get his older brother, Isaac. Both Israel and Isaac went back over to the lot, and they said that this is when Susan came out of her house again, waving an umbrella at them and threatening them with it. Then Isaac and Israel went home to get their mother to tell her what happened. So I want y'all to think about this. The man Franklin is outside with 10 to 15 of the neighborhood little ones, right? They're playing games all day. She don't say nothing to them. She's watching them though. He leaves. And then Isaac comes back to get his iPad. She's already out in that field and picked up that iPad, picked up skates. That's when she starts yelling and cussing at them, when there's no adult around. And then when Israel goes and gets his brother, she comes outside with an umbrella, swinging it at them. Now, if my kids came home and told me that, I would probably be a little upset myself, okay? At this time, Susan decided to call 911 to report that the children were yelling, being obnoxious, and threatening to beat her up. Yeah, Susan said that she was in fear for her life. The dispatcher told her that officers were going to be responding to the scene very soon.
911, what is the address of emergency? What is your name?
Susan.
I'm sorry, you said your name was Susan?
Yes.
All right, and tell me exactly what happened.
I got kids trespassing again. They're leaving all the toys around. They're just screaming, yelling, just being absolutely obnoxious. I went and threw the roller skates over to the other side. The kid says, I'm going to beat you up for that. And he's mouthing off to me.
All right.
Right in my own home.
Is he out there right now?
Yeah, there are several kids out there right now, and I'm fearing for my life. I'm very scared.
Okay. How many people are involved?
Earlier, there was about 20 kids out here screaming, yelling, asking to leave. They're like, screw you. Now there's 3 boys.
3?
Yes.
Okay.
And the kid saying I took his iPad and all this other shit was just absurd. The only thing that was out there was a roller skates, and I don't want to get tangled with these children. I just don't like them coming around my house. They've been coming onto my deck, my patio, and telling me, get up, when I'm watching TV and stuff. They have no business over here. There's no trespassing signs. I don't like the kids threatening me that they're going to beat me up, that they're going to get someone else to kill me. And this is just ridiculous.
Are you or anyone else in danger right now?
I locked my doors.
All right. Do you want you to avoid that person and then keep your doors and windows locked? An officer will be dispatched as soon as possible. Do you want the officer to contact you?
Please, yes.
All right.
Because what's going to happen is his mom's going to go out and wait for the officer and run and say, oh my God, I was threatening her kid, which just isn't true.
All right, and then I'm going to go ahead and let you go, but please call us back if anything changes or if you get any further information or if they do leave, okay?
Okay, thanks.
However, before the officers got there, AJ walked over to Susan's house with Israel to confront her. Most witnesses have said that AJ was banging on Susan's door while saying things like, open up, why don't you throw something at me? And don't you touch or throw things at my kids. So she walked over, she's banging on the door. She's like, she probably had it at this point. But as upset as AJ was, no one could have expected what Susan would do next. Susan fired off one shot from inside her home through her closed and locked door. The shot went through the door and struck AJ in the chest. Witnesses say that AJ stumbled backwards and began to run away from the door, and then she collapsed onto the ground. Not even 2 minutes after hanging up with 911, Susan called 911 again to report that she had fired her because she was in fear for her life.
What was the address of the emergency?
1662 Southwest 157th Place. Oh my God, this lady just tried to break down my door. I shot through the door. Oh my God.
Okay, what is your name?
Lorincz.
Okay, what's going? Take a deep breath for me. Calm down.
Oh my God.
You said someone tried to break down your door, is that correct?
Yes. Yes, the woman was screaming and yelling and she was trying to break down my door and she was...
Okay, it was a female?
Yes. I didn't know what to do. I grabbed my gun and I shot at the door. And I thought she was going to get me. Oh my God.
Okay, you said you shot at the door, is that correct?
Yes, I shot at the door because she wouldn't stop. I told her to get away and she wouldn't. She just begging to stay.
Do you know her name?
AJ.
I'm sorry, what was the first name?
AJ, AJIKE.
Now, this was complete chaos in the neighborhood, as you guys can imagine. Her 2 sons began to bang on doors, asking for help, saying that their mother had... And neighbors started running out and trying to administer CPR to AJ. She ended up being taken to the hospital where she was pronounced deceased. And here is the forensic pathologist testifying about how the ammo entered her body and the path that it took.
Did you locate the corresponding gunshot wound on Miss Owens' body?
Yes, I did.
Where was that located?
It was on the right side of the chest.
Did you find an exit wound?
There was none.
Is that consistent with the x-ray showing the presence of projectile inside of her body?
It is.
Can you describe to the jury the damage that the projectile caused as it entered her body and proceeded through it?
Sure. So the projectile entered the right side of the chest. It then hit the fourth rib, after which it went through her right lung. It went through the heart. It went through the esophagus. It also went through the aorta, after which it went through the diaphragm, the spleen, and it was recovered from the left lower abdomen area.
Can you describe the path of travel the projectile took?
Sure. So it went from right to left and downward.
One of the most heartbreaking parts of the Netflix documentary is when AJ's children and family find out that she had passed away. I'm actually not going to include that in this video, but it is in the Netflix documentary, and it is very hard to watch. Susan was detained, and she ended up being taken to the sheriff's office to be interviewed. Susan admitted to firing the shot that ended AJ's life, but she said that she did so because she felt like AJ was going to come into her house and end her life. Here's some footage from her interrogation.
Basically, the neighbors were out there screaming, yelling. The kids were running back and forth. I had a miserable headache. Went inside, laid down. They finally got quiet. I came outside, and the three boys were there. I'm like, guys, you're trespassing. Come on, go out of here. And he's like, I want this, and I want that, and fuck you, and fuck this. I'm like, oh, okay, little big kids, you know, because they're all really young. And
so you say you came out, and they were...
I wanted to check my truck. Every time I had my truck on one side, the kids would throw the balls and hit the truck.
Okay.
So I moved the truck to the other side, then they moved themselves to the other side, and they keep just, you know...
Just antagonizing you?
Oh, God,
yeah.
horribly.
Okay, so when you said that you came outside and they were there, the three boys were there, where were they at?
Right in front of, you know, that little cove that's
like
there.
The privacy fence?
They were right there.
Okay.
Right in front.
Inside the privacy fence, like on your patio? Or
no,
outside?
they were just right outside.
Okay.
And I'm like, guys, come on, leave. And then they were like, I'm going to tell my mom, you know. Go tell your mom, I don't care, you know. And
have you had problems with him before?
Oh my God, yes.
You go outside and the three of them are out there?
Yeah, and I didn't want to go any further because he's like, I'm going to kill you, I'm going to kill you. I'm like, in the world.
Who said that?
HI's kids. I'm like, kids, go home. So they go home, and then all of a sudden she comes out and she is just banging on my door. I'm like, and then she started banging so hard, everything started shaking. And I'm like, you really need to leave. And then she, I'm going to kill you. And she's just banging away. And she banged so hard, it looked like my door was going to fly off. And I panicked. And I was like, oh my gosh, she's really going to kill me this time, you know. And so I don't even actually remember picking up. I just remember shooting.
Where do you keep that usually?
It's in my bedroom.
That's where you keep it? Like in a cabinet or something, or just like?
It's just, I actually keep it in the trash can. Oh my God, and I just started panicking, and I really feared for my life. I mean, honest to God, I was like, oh Jesus Christ, I'm a nervous wreck. You know, I'm not supposed to be getting nervous or anything like this because I have an aneurysm on my left kidney artery. And so they're like, you're supposed to stay calm, you're not supposed to do anything, and this woman just keeps antagonizing me. She's got the kids calling me, I have a doctoral degree. Do not talk to me like I am one of your peers.
Mm. So they don't really have any respect?
No respect.
Yeah. So AJ, she came to your door?
Oh yeah.
And she was
pounding on it. I was like, what the hell, my cat's going to fling it.
What was she saying? Was she saying anything?
You don't talk to my sons. I'm going to fucking kill you. I'm going to fucking kill you. I'm like, oh Jesus Christ.
Did she like try to come inside?
She was trying as hard as she could.
And what do you mean?
That door was moving. And I'm like, holy shit. You know,
like, did she try the door handle, or was she just beating on it to try to push it in, or what?
She was just, you know, just trying to push it in, trying to push it in, and I was like, oh my God.
So, but you had already contacted 911.
Yeah.
Did they advise you that someone was responding,
yes,
an officer was responding?
They said someone's coming out, and they said, lock the doors, you know, make sure you don't go outside. I'm like, okay, you know, usual.
Okay.
You know, and the kid's got his roller skates there, and I'm like, really, take your roller skates. And I threw the roller skates. I'm like, go fetch them. Because
Did you throw that at them?
Oh,
or?
God, no.
Okay.
No, I just.
And what is the thing about the umbrella? You have an umbrella?
I thought it was raining before, and I walked out and it wasn't raining. I'm like, okay.
And you like swung it at them or so, or one of them?
I wasn't even close. I was still inside the vestibule. So
How can we explain that then with people saying, like multiple people that weren't like talking to each other, that if they were saying that that's what they saw?
Maybe I did step out and I'm like, guys, go away, but I would never touch them. You know.
Maybe like swat at them with it, but not.
Exactly.
Okay.
If I did it, it was probably because I was just so, you know, like, come on.
But I know at least say if you did, but is that what happened? I mean, we got to kind of get specific about this because it's a big deal.
I understand.
Someone's dead.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
So that's why I say it's important to be specific and honest about everything. So.
It was only because she was pounding at my door, and I, honest to God, thought she was going to come in.
Now, something that really stuck out to me was Susan admitted to telling AJ's son Israel to go get his mom. So in that point, she invited AJ's mom over. Go get your mom.
And I'm like, guys, come on, leave. You know, because I wanted to check the truck and everything. And then they were like, I'm going to tell my mom. You know, I'm like, go tell your mom. I don't care, you know.
Now, during this investigation, Susan told the investigators that she did have 2 Blink cameras set up in her house. But after allowing them to look for the footage on her phone, they realized that the camera did not capture the incident at all. They later found out that was because Susan had the cameras set up inside her windows looking out. The infrared light on the camera basically reflected off of the glass and made it to where the cameras didn't typically pick up any motion at night. So she was filming out her window, not inside the home. At the end of this interrogation, Susan was not arrested and she ended up being allowed to leave. In fact, she was even given a police escort to a hotel because she didn't feel safe going back to her apartment. Now, obviously, this was extremely upsetting for everyone. However, a couple days later on June 6th, Susan was brought back in for another interrogation. Equipped with more information, these 2 investigators really pushed Susan hard to explain how she felt she acted in self-defense.
So, Detective Stith has been talking to you about the timeline, okay? And some of the work we've done. Now, this is a picture that I drew. I am not an artist at all, but when I tell you some of the work we've done, we spoke to all the people over. This is your house, by the way. Okay, this is. We'll put an S for you. Mm-hmm. We spoke to everybody in these buildings. We spoke to them all in these buildings, and we talked to anybody that had cameras that would see different areas. These cameras, they hear things. We're able to hear audio, we're able to hear things like that. And everyone that we interviewed, I pretty much got the same, Detective Stith, I think we all got the same statement from every single person we interviewed. We lined up, well, we didn't line them up. These people were interviewed in different locations. Some of them were interviewed in different buildings, in different places. I interviewed them at different houses, and all these people provided me similar statements, okay? No one that provided these, now these people could hear her talking. Okay, because she was talking loudly. You said that you could hear it through the wall, and I can agree with that. Okay, she made a statement, something to the effect of, "Why'd you take my kid's iPad?" Okay, somebody heard her say that.
I never touched an iPad. I never saw the iPad. I don't know what this iPad is about.
A tablet or something like that?
Again, no tablet, no iPad, no electronics at all. It was never there, or at least I never saw it.
Okay.
So I have no idea.
Was she, maybe she's wrong, but was she asking you about a tablet or accusing you of something with a tablet or an iPad? I don't know if it's an iPad or a tablet. She could have? She could have. Okay. You seem unsure of some of the stuff she's saying through the door. Did she say, you're not really sure if she said that?
She could have said it during her rants.
Okay. So she's saying these things. The thing is everything that we've learned so far, I have not learned of her ever saying to you that she wanted that she wanted to get into the house. It sounded more like she wanted to talk to you outside of the house.
How do you want to talk to outside the house when you're banging and screaming?
Yeah.
That's not reasonable.
One of the people said that she said, "Come outside."
That's not, I'm sorry.
Come
That's
out.
not what?
It's not reasonable and prudent. I mean, you just don't, bang and expect someone to come out. Yeah, I think I'll come outside so
Right.
you can,
Well, I know.
seriously.
What she's learned, what I'm learning, what these people said is that she was saying to come outside. She wanted to confront you about something. She wanted you to come outside. Do you remember her making statements and asking you to come out there and talk to her?
Honestly, don't recall.
Okay, so you don't remember that, and you seem unsure about some of the statements she made about the tablet. No one that we've interviewed so far has made any statements about her saying that she wanted to kill you.
That's what I heard.
Okay. You said you were so in fear and you're shaking. Is your memory affected regarding this incident in some way?
I just remember being terrified that she was banging and screaming, and I just remember hearing her say, "I'm going to kill you."
They even asked her if she ever looked up Florida's stand your ground law.
You had mentioned the words, and I asked you to repeat it because I wanted to make sure I heard you correctly. You had mentioned terminology like reasonable and prudent, in reference to how AJ was acting at your door while she was trespassing and everything. Where did that come from, that terminology? Is that
Watching TV.
watching TV? Okay. Like documentary stuff, or like what?
Probably just crime shows and stuff.
Crime shows? Okay. I have to ask you this. So, have you done any research on like the laws as far as like in Florida, as far as self-defense and things like that?
I looked at it today.
You looked at it today?
When I was on Facebook. Just some things that, they had it up on Facebook.
Describe that. What did you, specifically, what you were reading about and learning about?
They said self-defense, and I'm trying to think of what else I looked at today.
Basically, before this incident occurred at your door, but we're not talking about like a couple years ago. We're talking about within the last few months. Would there be, because your internet browser, even if you delete it or you go on private browser, if we take a look at those things, because we did go through your phone, the judge signed an order for us to be able to do that. So if that were the case, if we were just to look through that, would there show anything that you were looking up, stand your ground or self-defense laws in Florida on the internet?
I don't know. I look up tons of stuff.
Is it a possibility that you looked that up?
Could have been. I don't know.
Okay.
I look up.
And the reason I ask is
I just go and see why the laws were. So I want to know why, like if they have an article, what happened in the situation,
Well, Susan, I think you know the reason why I'm asking that question. You're smart, okay, and the reason is.
Oh hell no. No, absolutely. I know what you're thinking. Did I look up the laws so I could do something? No.
This is not a situation where you set something up because you were tired of this person, you were tired of the situation that they put you in.
No.
Okay.
Sorry, no.
And I found this part really interesting. The investigators asked Susan how much time she thought went by between the two 911 phone calls. Just listen to this.
From the time that you called 911, these kids are on my property and they're yelling, what happened that first 911 call? That time that you hung up with 911, how long before she showed up and she was pounding on the door after you hung up?
10 minutes.
10 minutes?
Yeah.
Okay. 10 minutes after that is when she started pounding on your door. Okay. And you say anywhere, you believe from 2 to 5 minutes?
Yeah.
Okay. And I just want to be clear, 2 to 5 minutes from the first time she pounded to the time where you felt in danger enough to pull the trigger.
Yeah.
I was shocked finding out that it was only 2 minutes when I was watching the documentary. Susan made it seem like she spent a bunch of time trying to find her phone. She went to the bathroom, she'd washed her hands. But if only 2 minutes went by between calls, how could she have lost her phone in that amount of time? And it also makes me wonder if she may have already had the weapon in her hand. I mean, think of how much time it takes to run around the house looking for your phone like Susan claimed to have been doing, while also going to get your making sure it's loaded, and so on and so on. Anyways, clearly the investigators were not buying Susan's story. So at the end of this interrogation, they let Susan know that she was going to be arrested, and Susan actually refused.
All right, Susan. All right, we're going to have you go with this deputy here.
No,
I'm sorry?
no,
No what?
I can't.
What's wrong? What's going
I
on?
just can't. I'm sorry, I can't do this.
Well, I mean, unfortunately, we're to that point where that's what's going to happen. Obviously, this isn't a conviction. This is you being charged, and then you're going to have your day in court to present your side of the story. Okay, so you're going to go with this deputy.
No, I'm not.
You're going to be booked in
No, I'm not.
and fingerprinted.
No.
They're going to take your pictures, and then you will have an arraignment in the morning.
I'm not going. I'm sorry.
There's a phone down there. You'll be able to call whoever you need to call, and right there in booking.
I'm not going.
But Susan, we are going. There's no change in that now. You're under arrest. In fact, we can probably go ahead and put handcuffs on her.
Yep.
Let's
Come on,
get
Susan,
you
stand up.
handcuffed.
No.
Stand up.
No, don't touch me.
Susan.
Stand up, Susan.
No.
Listen.
Sorry, I can't
It can
do
go
this.
one of
I
two
can't
ways. It
do
can
this.
go an easy way or it can go a really hard way.
I'm sorry.
We don't want it to go the hard way.
I'm so sorry. I
Susan,
can't
put
do
yourself in our position. There's no choice in this. You're going over there.
this. I'm sorry. I can't do this.
Susan, you understand that from the point of the story that you've given us, that by refusing and resisting, that it's making you look bad, okay? And I understand your reluctance to want to go.
Good. I just can't do
Okay,
this.
well, they have medical staff over there
As soon
that
as
can
you get over
assist
there, there's a
you.
nurse right in the front.
They can,
No.
you give them the
can't
prescription
do this.
medications that you're taking, all of that. They will assist you in making sure that you get the care you need.
No,
But
I can't
we're
do
going
this.
over there, okay? You're
I
gonna go
can't.
over there and,
I just can't do this.
okay, well,
Come on, Susan, stand up.
if
we
we
don't have
have,
time to
Seriously,
debate.
I can't do this.
okay, but do you understand that you're under arrest and you're
I
gonna be
understand
taken to
I'm
the
under
jail
arrest
one
now.
way or another, okay?
I don't care.
Susan?
I just can't do this. I'm sorry.
I don't. What you're saying and doing right now is not reasonable.
I know it's not
There's been
reasonable, but I
peop-
just can't do this.
So when you
So-
say it's not reasonable, that doesn't make sense to me.
I understand. I just can't do this. I'm sorry.
Okay. And this is why we're in this position here, Susan, is because the decisions you make are not reasonable. You make just like what
I'm
we're
sorry.
experiencing right now.
I'm sorry. I just can't do this. I can't do this.
I've had people sit in this chair that have done things and they get up, they walk out on their own accord. They've done some really bad things. Okay, you're not the only person, but I need you to...
I feel horrible. I can't do this.
Okay, well, we're going to go to the jail. There's no changing this. There's no stopping it.
I don't care. Kill me.
We're not going to kill anybody. We're going to take you to the jail. We'd rather you walk on your own. We'd rather you just walk down there. It'd be so much better for everybody if we could just walk down
Can
there.
you just stand up for me?
No.
So what do you plan on sitting here the rest of the night?
I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm probably going to die of a heart attack.
Well, like I said, they have medical staff over there. We want to be able to get you over
The
there.
quicker we get you over there, the quicker someone over there that's in medical can see you.
No, I just can't do
Susan, this is what's gonna happen. We're gonna put you in handcuffs, and if we have to forcefully bring you out there, that's what we
We're
have to
gonna
do,
do
because
that.
we are obligated
I really don't want
to
to.
take you to the jail now, okay?
Thank you for
this.
standing up.
Sorry.
I understand that.
So put your hands behind your back for me.
Thank you, Susan.
I didn't do this on purpose. This wasn't a purposeful act. I did not premeditate it. I didn't do anything like that. This is ridiculous.
Now, according to the arrest affidavit, after they left the interrogation room with Susan, she apparently was being escorted to a cop car when she started complaining about chest pain and attempted to fall on the ground. So she was taken to the hospital to get checked out before being taken to the jail. Susan was charged with first-degree manslaughter with a culpable in negligence, battery, and 2 counts of. Susan's trial started in August of 2024, and after 2 hours of deliberation, Susan was found guilty of.
Verdict as to count 1. We, the jury, find as to count 1 of the charge. The defendant is guilty of manslaughter. Did the state prove beyond a reasonable doubt that during the commission of the offense, the defendant personally used a firearm? Yes. So say we all, dated the 16th day of August, 2024.
In November, Susan was sentenced to 25 years in prison.
Believe me, I find that, she's a victim of child sex abuse was a significant mitigating factor. And she has no criminal record, which is also a significant factor. However, we also have a tremendous harm inflicted upon this family and the victim's family. So what I'm going to do in this case is she being adjudicated guilty of manslaughter with a firearm and order to serve 25 years in the Department of Corrections. With credit for 538 days. It's $100 cost of prosecution, $100 fine, court cost. Good luck to you, ma'am. You have 30 days to appeal.
As of now, Susan is serving her time in a prison in Homestead, Florida. Now, Susan recently did an interview with the media, and in it, she maintains her story and makes a couple of new accusations.
I remember the kids screaming and yelling. I had a migraine headache. I was in my bedroom, shut everything down, closed curtains. Everything was dark. And when they finally left, I had to pack up a computer for my work to ship back to the home office. So I wanted to do that, and I didn't realize the children were still outside. There were the 3 boys, and they were very close to my sidewalk, and they had their skates around and stuff. I had fallen over a skate, and I said, guys, pick up your skates, and they were like, no. And I said, kids, pick up your skates and please leave. You're trespassing. You know you're trespassing. And the kid said, I'm going to kill you. If I can't kill you, I'm going to find someone to kill. Just the way he said it made me so uncomfortable. There had been a multitude of threats. Prior to that, the children said they would set me on fire, and they took one of the no trespassing signs, set it on fire, and then put it on my porch, and they said, you're next. So when he said this, I'm like, oh my God, it takes a second. Squirt somebody with some lighter fluid, and they left the lighter fluid with the burnt sign. And I'm thinking, they're going to set me on fire. First phone call dropped, and I had to call them back again. And so I told them what had transpired it was a really horrible connection, and they just said, wait. So I locked the bottom lock, and I waited. Next thing I know, I had to go to the bathroom, so I quick went to the bathroom. I had put my phone down, and I forgot where I put the phone. Banging on the door, banging on the door. I thought, oh my goodness, the cops are here so quick. They must have been in the area. And I said, 1 minute. As soon as I said 1 minute, she went on a tirade, expletives, and just horrible language, screaming at me, pounding on the door so hard. I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, you need to leave. You're trespassing. You were told not to come here by the sheriff's department. You know you're trespassing. You need to leave. And then she said, I'm going to effing kill you. And I went, oh my God. And she's pounding and she's pounding and she's pounding. And I just, I was terrified. She pounded so hard that I could hear the frame crack. And it did. It splintered, the frame. And when she did that, I went like this and I pulled the trigger. Because even in my questioning and the police report, I said, I don't remember firing the gun. I just know the gun off. And I heard it. She said, ow. And I thought, oh crap, I hit her. And I thought, how in God's green earth did I, aim for that left corner and I hit her? I couldn't figure things out.
Susan even said that she was getting ready to move before this happened.
I had sold a horse, got a mortgage, and I was in the process of buying a small place. I wanted out. I didn't want to be there anymore. And it would have closed within a couple weeks.
And remember, she's also said that in 2022, so when Susan was asked about her slurs, she said this.
Once those children had said that it was a racial matter, they're like, oh my God, she's a racist. And that's just not true. I was married to a Middle Eastern man who was Muslim. My nephew is part black. I've had black friends since I was 5 years old. I grew up in Passaic, New Jersey, very, very diverse, demographic. And I have black friends here in jail, and I'm like, oh my God, it's not true. It's emphatically not true.
Back in June, AJ's mother, Pamela, filed a wrongful death lawsuit against both Susan and the owner of the building Susan was living in. They're asking for at least $50,000 in damages. In response, Susan filed a handwritten letter reiterating that AJ and her little ones were the aggressors. She also said in the letter that she wants to countersue for slander, libel, and defamation of character for damages that exceed $50,000 against Pamela, AJ's little ones, and the landlord. Susan accuses the landlord of failing to secure the property correctly and allowing AJ and her little ones to harass her. Susan ends the letter by saying, completion of the fact and expert discovery to follow. And I see that, and I just see Susan really thinking she's the smartest one in the room. Oh, you're going to countersue? Like, the actual nerve to even, anyways, AJ's mother, Pamela, has since started a nonprofit called Standing in the Gap. It's actually dedicated to providing financial assistance and counseling resources for families affected by this type of. What do I think? I think Susan is a pathological liar. I think that even when I showed y'all that clip earlier, and this is something so small, I showed y'all that clip earlier where Susan tells the officer she's getting ready to move. I'm going to play that clip for you here again, and I want you to think, this is the way that I see it. I could be wrong. You see it, you let me know how you see it down below. But she comes out and she knows that her address on her ID does not match the address that she lives. She's trying to get ahead of it with the police, the same way Brian Koberger did when he would talk to the police. She thought she was smarter than the police. So she comes out, she tells the officer, she hands her ID, and she goes, oh, hey, the addresses aren't the same, because I didn't change it because I'm getting ready to move. And the officer's like, yeah, okay. Officer didn't even care. Officer didn't care about her address not matching where she lived. The officer was there because this woman called the police saying that her neighbor was jumping on her, basically, and did all this stuff. But in Susan's mind, she's smarter than the police, and she's getting ahead of everything, even though she wasn't moving. Watch it again.
I found my license doesn't match this. I was supposed to move, and then I ended up having the surgery, so I'll be moving shortly.
The same way she did that interview from prison, and allegedly her attorneys advised against it. But she did it anyways because she thinks she is the smartest person in the room, and she just exposed herself, in my opinion, of contradicting herself more and being a liar. Just like, in my opinion, Susan thought she was going to be able to claim self-defense by doing what she did. That's why she made that phone call before she got her stuff ready. After she told Isaac and Israel to go and get their mom, she was getting ready in the meantime, calling 911 so she could have her story. And while they went and got AJ and AJ came over, okay, she said, come get your mama. Well, here I am. She was banging on the door and she was planning it, and she did it through the door. According to the arrest affidavit, they seized her phone. When they seized her phone, they found recordings of the little ones playing on her phone, which means she was sitting in that duplex, peeking out the window, just recording them on her phone. Again, never once were they busting out windows, spray painting her stuff, slashing her tires. They were out there playing. She even admitted to calling them slurs. She had it out for them, and she was waiting for her opportunity, which brings me to my unpopular opinion here. I think she should have been charged with first degree. Now, maybe she wasn't because they didn't think that they was going to be able to charge her with that. But to me, if I was on the jury, seems pretty premeditated to me. 25 years, even though if she makes it out, I don't think she should ever be leaving. As a matter of fact, my husband watched this with me, and this is a very short version of what he thought should happen.
Lock her up. Throw away the key.
Absolutely heartbreaking what happened. And the fact that there were so many little ones outside when it happened. That guy, Franklin, who was the neighbor that was out there playing with him, one of his sons was still outside when it happened because he testified in court as a minor, testifying. They didn't show his face, but he testified that he saw AJ walk over there and she was mad and she was yelling and she was banging on the door. And they asked him, did AJ say to Susan through the door, I'm going to end you? Because that was Susan's part of her self-defense and her being afraid of her life. And even the minor said no. She never said that. However, all of these people their lives are forever changed, especially her children. And there was even part of the documentary where they were blaming themselves for this, blaming themselves if they just wouldn't have been playing in that field. But it wasn't the field. She was antagonizing them. She was doing this, in my personal opinion, on purpose. And 25 years is just not enough, in my opinion. But I do pray and hope that her kids have found some sort of peace and a way to move on, and at least she is behind bars for the time that she is. However, they lost their mother. It's devastating. What do y'all think? Y'all let me know what y'all think in the comment section down below. Other than that, I love y'all. Thank y'all so much for watching this video, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Love you guys. Bye.